Hey everyone, it's me again, Igor Farmer, and today I'm going to tell you how you can launch your YouTube channel from your very first video, so that the video you upload immediately starts getting views. I've personally gone through this journey myself, and as you can see, my students are going through it too. Today, I'll explain all of this to you in great detail, covering every aspect. My name is Igor Farmer. I'm the creator and producer of a network of American YouTube channels. Let's get started. Let's take it step by step. First of all, in order to launch a channel, we obviously need a good, relevant niche. I've talked about this many times before, and there are tons of videos on my channel where I cover this topic in detail, showing awesome, super cool niches for channels where you can create content. But now, let's dive a little deeper into all of this and figure out, in general, what we need to do to really get our channel off the ground. For example, I'll take a niche related to hamsters. I just typed the word train into the YouTube search bar, and let's take a look together at what we've got here. Well, first of all, there's the channel Mr. Hamster, right, with 3 million subscribers. What kind of videos does he actually make? It's a completely diverse range of animal-related content. Yeah, so these are basically really weird, primitive-looking videos, or so it seems. However, there's actually a lot of hard work behind this content. Because, for example, to create a location like that, especially one that moves, it takes several weeks of really productive, intense work. Naturally, starting out in this niche with some kind of, well, unclear topic, one that might catch on or might not, is a risk. It's pretty frustrating if you actually spend several weeks building such a solid, detailed location for the hamster to run around in, and then the video, well, barely even gets 10 views, so to speak. So, in order to really get into all this, we need to figure out, so to speak, the main triggers, the main patterns that actually unite all the videos in this niche. First of all, let's establish, for example, in the hamster niche, what interesting things do we have here? We must always have a hamster on the thumbnail. In other words, since this is content about hamsters, there has to be a hamster present. Plus, the hamster should be in some kind of extreme situation. Let's go through a few examples together. For example, here we have a hamster that's running away from a snake. Right, so, it's pretty obvious. Yeah, the snake is obviously a toy and all that, but still, it looks like the hamster is literally trying to survive. You might say it's kind of immoral, like animal cruelty or something, but that's not the case at all. It's just a mechanical snake that's basically there as decoration in the video. Or, for example, the hamster jumps into some unknown hole. So, what's in that hole? Where he'll end up? Where he'll fall? Nobody knows. Or, for instance, the hamster flies straight into a shark's mouth. Like, what's behind the shark and so on? Well, you get the idea. That's the first thing. Yeah, so in every video we notice that there's a certain trigger. Let's say, the main theme, right, which is common, it's danger. Let's move on. We see that 3 years ago, they uploaded a video with poppets. Poppets were super popular, trending and all that. You know, popular toys. That's why they added this thing to their video. Poppets were topping every possible chart and even the impossible ones, and so on. So, what else is interesting in these videos? Let's just type hamster maze into the search and look at some other popular channels we have here. Well, for example, Squid Game. So the hamster goes through the classic challenges from Squid Game. So, first of all, let's note, we can mix in and add all sorts of different trends here. Plants vs. Zombies is also a super popular theme on YouTube, a very popular game. If you build a location based on it, obviously, it's going to get views. Escape from some place like Shawshank or Alcatraz, I don't know. So, that's pretty clear too. Spider-Man, the shark trend, the dinosaur trend, right? So, you get what I'm saying, right? If we add any additional trends that are currently relevant, like, for example, right now sprunts are super hyped. They're really trending right now. Everyone's making videos about them. Tons of different parodies, covers, mods. Some are super cringe, some are just scary. Like, there are different phases, right? Some are creepy, or, for example, people cooking food with these sprunks. Basically, there's a ton of stuff, all kinds of content being made. So why not make some kind of creepy, scary location with these sprunks, and on top of that, throw in some hamsters? I mean, I think that'll get views no matter what. This is how we actually do it in practice, especially with my students. So, how does it all really work? Let me show you with this example. We create what's called a mind map. In this mind map, we mark all possible triggers, including, yes, video topics that have gotten a lot of views. Roughly speaking, let's say we want to make a video about cooking food. Well, some desserts. Yes, desserts. Let's put it that way. Well, direction, niche dessert. Let's fix it. Nutella. Yes, Nutella is the first ingredient. This is, in fact, a whole trend. There are a lot of different themes in this trend. Yes, so different sizes of cans and so on. That is, Nutella can be mixed with some additional flavors and so on. And we look at how many views all of this has gotten and how long ago the last video on this topic was posted. This is how we create a mind map with different topics and compare which ones are better, which are worse, what works better, what works worse. And that's how we get closer to coming up with an idea for a video. So basically, our task in order to go viral with the very first video is to combine several different topics. First of all, it's a good long-term trend in itself. Secondly, it's something currently relevant that we'll be working with, which we pull out again based on all these things, triggers, topics, and so on, time, and so on. And the third point, the third component, is relevance. In other words, it needs to be relevant right now, at this very moment, so that people actually want to watch it now, so that it's interesting right now, and not just some random nonsense in our heads. You see, we can make any kind of video on YouTube, but our goal, once again, is to get views. That's why we take and combine three components: relevance, this niche aspect, right, the niche itself, and the trend. And that's how we come up with a great idea for a video. Of course, that's not enough for our first video to take off. We also need a good thumbnail. And over all this time, I've probably made, well, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 thumbnails for YouTube in total, right? So, how are all my YouTube thumbnails actually made? Let me just show you with a few clear examples. Well, first of all, this is a thumbnail for Minecraft. What do we see here? We see several important triggers, right? So, first of all, there are diamonds, emeralds, and all that. Basically, some expensive resources that, you know, make a kid want to click on the video to see how I, so to speak, got them. Secondly, there's the unusual pickaxe itself, which is also a strong trigger. Thirdly, this pickaxe is in the inventory. Overall, the location, Minecraft in real life, is unusual. It's not a screenshot from the game. It's Minecraft in real life. Or, take this portal. So here, several triggers are combined. The portal itself isn't typical. The sword from this game is also extremely unusual. Plus, on top of all that, the portal is realistic, and I'm also holding some kind of realistic object in my hand. So I also took and combined several of these very triggers that I found into one thumbnail. Or, for example, well, this is just wild. It's absolutely crazy. You get the deal, right? So there's danger, everything connected to it. Let's move on. For example, take a thumbnail like this, right? Here, again, I'm combining several different themes using the same principle, but with a slightly different approach. First, I added all sorts of realistic ores. Second, I added unusual swords. And third, I added a zombie. That is, a mutant zombie from some Minecraft mod. For those who don't know what mods in Minecraft are, basically, they're just add-ons for the game. So, things that aren't originally in the game. So, originally, this character isn't in the game. So, I added him myself, and the kids who watch this find it interesting. So, what is the point of all this? Where is this whole story leading? Let's take a look at my most popular YouTube channel, where I actually upload all this. One of the most record-breaking videos on my channel in terms of views got 65 million views, because once again, I made a minimalist thumbnail and added a few details, specifically the kind that trigger and bait people into watching. Remember this slang right away. Bait means to provoke. Yeah, like to provoke someone to watch and so on. So, what do we end up with in the end, right? That is, we've combined several important things together.
If you want to start your own YouTube channel, get it monetized, and earn like my students $200 to $300 a day, then now is the perfect time to follow the link in the description and check out my training lessons at my YouTube Academy. There, you'll choose a relevant niche for a YouTube channel without using your voice or showing your face, launch your channel in a trending topic, and of course you'll be able to fully automate all the processes. It's free for now at this moment. That's why I recommend all of you to go check it out, subscribe, and of course, finally start growing your own YouTube channel. Because right now, this particular field, making money on American YouTube, is exactly the area where you can consistently earn from $5,000 a month. And in many niches, you don't even have to create the content yourself. I've explained all of this in detail in the training. The link is in the description below the video.
What's the third thing we need to do? Of course, the title. And here's my favorite example. The best one there is Yen Topless. For instance, the main lottery in your life. How a passport decides everything. Well, that's the kind of headline we have. Why not? Or, for example, info threats. This video changes your mindset for 3 months. In parentheses, you can also see how that's a trigger phrase for 3 months. So, it changes your mindset for 3MO. Basically, the person watching thinks, damn, so if I watch this video now, something in my life will change? Interesting. This very approach to titling, when we add the main components of the title and an additional trigger part, works really well. Mr. Beast does this very often. So if we look at his videos, we can tell just from the titles that, first of all, they're super minimalist, and second, they combine several important topics, several super important triggers. 50 YouTubers compete for $1 million. What do we have here? First of all, 50 YouTubers is a really strong tag. It's very clear, a powerful thing. Like, wow, gathering 50 people, and not just anyone, but YouTubers, all in one place. $1 million, that's an even stronger trigger. So, basically, starting a video title with a number, right? Something measurable, something clear, one YouTuber competing against another. But if there are 50 of them, that really, you know, triggers us to want to watch the video. Or take this kind of story, right? 7 days exploring an underground city. So again, a guy spent 7 days in some mysterious catacombs. Of course, we're curious to find out how he managed down there. Holy moly. So, well, that's how it is. It turns out we have 3 components: the topic of the video, the title, and the thumbnail. What else? It might seem like something is still missing from this whole list, right? Tags, or keywords. They help us promote our video in search. And thanks to keywords, words, people can find our video. Of course, the most important thing is tags. So let's take a look, using the example of hamsters and mazes, at what we need to add from all this. We open up this wonderful service and look through the keywords. First of all, maze. Pool, obviously, if our video is about a pool. Hamster maze, meaning a maze. The secret life of a hamster could also work. DIY, we can cover that topic too. Funny videos, obviously. You can also list, for example, if our video is somehow related to the game Roblox or Minecraft, you can add that too. How to do something, how to build a house, shark, pets, hamster tries to escape, hamster trap, traps, and so on. All of this fits the topic, so we can confidently add it, throw out anything unnecessary, and set all the essentials as our tags. How do you properly upload a video to YouTube? I explained how to set all this up technically in one of my previous videos. Be sure to check it out on the channel as well. And by the way, I also have a video on the channel about covers and thumbnails, so now's the perfect time to watch it. And here comes the question. You've uploaded your video to YouTube, so when will you start getting your first views? In other words, when will YouTube start sending us traffic? And honestly, it all depends on the situation, of course, but most often, if we've done everything right, it goes like this. You upload your video to YouTube, and for a few days, yeah, it gets almost 0 views, maybe 5 days, maybe a week, or even less. Then YouTube starts giving you your first views, your first impressions, here and there, and you see, yeah, those first views are coming purely from search. This is almost exclusively from search. You know, it's that super relaxed, calm kind of traffic. So obviously, you're not going to get millions right away. YouTube just gradually gives you some views. You upload a second video, YouTube sees that you're being active, right, and starts promoting your first video that you uploaded. You upload a third video, and all 3 videos together start getting into recommendations. I'll show you. I'm showing you now an example from my new channel that we literally just launched. If you want to see its results, I'll show you in a couple of months what we end up with. And, accordingly, here's a more vivid example from something else we launched recently. So, how does it usually work in practice? Right, that is, we filmed the first video. Again, for a while there are almost no views at all, just the bare minimum. The video starts getting into recommendations, it gets pushed, and we upload a few more videos in parallel with it, and our first video really does start to take off like that. So, basically, promotion on YouTube always works like a sine wave, right? And in order to promote a single video, it's not enough to just upload one video. We always need to publish a lot of content. That is, with a certain regularity, once a week, once every 2 weeks. But you need to upload these videos so that, as we can see, the channel develops. And again, this is a really simple, almost dumb piece of advice, but a lot of people honestly don't get it. If we just abandon the channel and, say, upload 20 videos and then stop making anything, then we'll never release that 21st video. And that 21st video could be exactly the one that, essentially, turns things around for the channel. It'll turn things around in such a way that it'll pull up all the previous videos we uploaded, the ones that, for some reason, YouTube hadn't promoted before, even though they deserved it. Honestly, there's only one image that comes to mind that perfectly illustrates this situation. One guy is digging, and most likely, if he doesn't give up, he'll eventually reach his goal, but the other guy just gave up. He literally just needed to dig one more tiny millimeter to finally reach that golden video, the one that would bring him views, subscribers, and results. But he just decided to quit. See you next time.